call to order the regularly scheduled meeting for the York County School Board on Monday, October the 23rd. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. As you can tell, we're small in number. Mr. Medford and Dr. George cannot meet with us or join us this evening. We look for them to come back for our next meeting. We're going to get started, excuse me, with our pledge leader, and I would like to introduce to you Jalen Kutsko. Jalen is a 5th grader at Tabb Elementary School who enjoys learning about math and science. When asked to comment on Jalen, her teachers describe her as hardworking, dependable, and a positive role model for her peers. When not working hard at school, Jalen participates in many activities. Her current hobbies include Girl Scouts, dance, gymnastics, and softball. Holidays, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas, are also important to Jalen, as she enjoys spending time with her family and friends. In the future, Jalen aspires to be a meteorologist and softball coach, but in the meantime, she hopes to remain in one of our Tabb schools through high school. Jalen would like everyone to know that she is truly honored to be here tonight and appreciates the opportunity to lead everyone in the pledge. Please stand and join Jalen in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jalen. We are going to begin recognizing our seniors of the month. I have the opportunity of introducing to you the Bruton High School Senior of the Month, Clara Winchesky. If Clara would stand with parents Russell and Kathy and Brother Lewis. Is everybody here? Okay. That's okay, we'll forgive him, right? Everybody stand up and let me share some information with you about Clara. Bruton High School is proud to honor Clara Winchesky as the Senior of the Month for October. Claire is one of Bruton's finest students. She is a remarkably passionate scholar and athlete. Since the 8th grade, Claire has dedicated herself to being a Bruton triathlete by participating in the cross-country, indoor track, and outdoor track teams. During this time, Claire has improved her running time performance. Recently, during the Miles Stat Invitational at Pole Green Park, Claire broke the previous school record with a time of 18:29. She was named All-State Runner during her freshman, sophomore, and junior years. During her junior year, Claire was named the Cross Country East Regional Runner of the Year. Claire has demonstrated her leadership by serving as the captain of the cross country, field hockey, indoor and outdoor track teams. She has also participated in the School of the Arts, French, and National Honor Societies. Claire is as dedicated to her academics as she is to athletics and has maintained a 4.51 GPA. When Claire is not participating in activities at Bruton, she is volunteering in the community at St. Elizabeth's Camp for teens and young adults with intellectual disabilities. This volunteer opportunity has helped Claire to realize her passion for this field of special education and psychology. You want to come back and work for us? Claire looks forward to continuous success in college next fall. Please join me in congratulating Claire Winchesky as Bruton's Senior of the Month. Mr. Richardson, you have Grafton High.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If Kira Schwartz could stand up with her parents, Mark and Tara, and her brother Jackson. Yeah, very good. So we're pleased to recognize Kira Schwartz as our October Senior of the Month. Kira is committed to her academics, her school, and her community. Kira is in the top 10% of her class with a current GPA of 4.21. She's in the York County Honors Program as well as a member of the National Honor Society. She is recognized as an AP Scholar with distinction by earning a 5 by earning 5 perfect scores out of 5 on her AP exams. Kira was recognized as a Centurion Scholar for earning a perfect score with her WISE Financial Literacy certification. She serves as president of the SCA, president of the Spanish Honor Society, and Secretary General of the Model United Nations and president of the YMCA Leaders Club. She organized a Zumbathon for Grafton's Heart Week, and Kira has been a part of the Stop Hunger Now campaign to help prepare food to be sent to other countries who are in need of food supplies. Kira spent the last 2 summers working at the YMCA and being a part of the summer camp program. She was the first junior volunteer at Mary Immaculate Hospital to be selected as a pharmacy intern for them. Kira would like to attend the University of Virginia, where she hopes to pursue a degree in either biochemistry or international politics. Kira enjoys debating, hiking, camping, and spending time with her friends and her family. And we're honored to call Kira a Grafton Clipper and also the Senior of the Month for October.
And Mr. Richardson, you also have Tabb High.
I do. If Andrew LaFont would stand up with his parents. Phil and Babette, there you go. When I think of the definition of leadership, by example, it's Andrew LaFont, and he comes to mind. As a stellar representative of Tabb High School, the October Student of the Month has been in the forefront in activity and leadership roles during his entire 4 years at Tabb High School. Active in everything from church leadership to student council, currently serving as a student body vice president at Tabb, Andrew is a leader in school and in the community. Sporting a 4.3511 GPA and advanced AP coursework, Andrew affects change. He has been a member of our varsity soccer and indoor track team, soccer captain, and all-state first-team soccer selectee his junior year. He is a member of his youth leadership team at his church, where he has emceed the parish talent show. And he also has a bit of a dramatic flair to him, I understand, but not in a bad way. He performed in every dramatic production of Tabb and he was a lead in the one-act play last year, and can be heard in the morning voice at Tabb High School in the morning. He also performed in the 2-day district driving distracted program presentation that the York Coast and Sheriff's Office presented at the school. He shines in the spotlight, whether it's performing for students or raising money for his mission trips. He's a national thespian, a National Honor Society member, and plays travel soccer year-round. Whether in the spotlight or behind the scenes, he plans to study medicine at the college level, and he's a true Tabb superstar. Let's congratulate Tabb's October Senior of the Month.
And Dr. Vivian, you have York High School. Okay, let me pull that up for you.
Sorry about that. Is Dane Royal present? Very good. Very good. York High School is pleased to announce Dane Royal as the October Senior of the Month. Dane is part of the International Baccalaureate Program and a proud Falcon, period. Dane's academic success has earned him acceptance in the National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta. He has also been awarded the highest honors each year. Dane has been heavily involved in the Student Council Association since 9th grade. He has had the privilege of being class president for the past 3 years. Impressive. In that time, he has participated in numerous community service activities totaling over 450 hours. He also has spent time tutoring students in math and participates in study tip sessions for IP freshmen. Congratulations, Dane. You are an exceptional young man, and we are proud to have you as part of the Falcon family. Well done. Very well done.
Okay, you got one more. I'm gonna give you this one. And we're going to move now to our Student Service Award recipients. And Dr. Vivian has Grafton Middle School.
Is Lauren Valencourt? Did I pronounce that right?
Yes. And the Florin will come forward with Paul Rice, principal.
Are you a Clipper? This is the theme of the 2017-2018 school year at Grafton Middle School. And I'm happy to announce that Lauren Vaillancourt is most definitely a Clipper. Grafton Middle School Clippers are connected, learners, independent, persistent, purposeful, and respectful. Lauren shows off many of these attributes while she is at school. Lauren is connected to Grafton Middle School in many ways. She is a trombone player in the band, a member of the SCA and chess clubs. Lauren loves to learn was a theme for all of her teachers. Lauren has demonstrated her love for learning by earning straight A's in middle school. She takes advanced classes and will start at Grafton High School with 4 high school credits. Lauren is also an award-winning scientist and has won numerous PTSA Reflections contests for literature. In the classroom, Lauren's teachers described her as an independent self-starter who is persistent and purposeful with all tasks. They also describe her as a student, always engaged in class no matter what they are doing. If you have ever talked with Lauren, the respect she has for herself and others is very clear. One of her teachers also described Lauren as the happy kid who smiles all the time and reminds you of why you are a teacher. Outside of school, Lauren is active in her church. She's a member of the cookie ministry, which bakes cookies and distributes them to others. She loves to make jewelry in her spare time. She is also an active member of her church youth group. Lauren also describes herself as a DIYer, do-it-yourselfer. Please join me in congratulating Lauren Vaillancourt as the Grafton Middle School Student Service Award recipient.
And I have the honor of introducing to you the Student Service Award recipient from Tabb Elementary School, Maggie Annette. And her principal, Ms. Lugo, is coming forward. Maggie, did I pronounce your last name correctly? Annette? Okay. We are pleased to introduce Ms. Maggie Annette as Tabb Elementary Student Service Award recipient. Maggie is 10 years old and in 5th grade. She enjoys spending time with her brother and dog. She is involved in many community and school activities. Maggie loves all types of sports, ranging from soccer to softball to basketball, so it is no surprise that she hopes to be a WNBA basketball player when she grows up. Maggie has been taking dance since she was 3 years old and is an active member of St. Martin Lutheran Church, where she can be seen baking cookies for others, feeding the homeless, and being an acolyte on special holidays. Not only is Maggie busy outside of school, she participates in several activities at Tabb. Maggie is part of our outstanding Jump Rope for Heart demo team that travels all across the neighboring counties and cities, performing and raising money for a great cause. She is an active member of the chorus group as well as the Battle of the Books teams. In the past, Maggie has participated in SCA and K-Kids. When Maggie is not busy helping out her school and community, she enjoys reading, cooking, and playing with her brother Leo. Her goal this year is to get straight A's again, and we know she will do it. Please help us honor Miss Maggie Annette as this year's Tabb Elementary Student Service Award recipient. Thank you, and we move now to our volunteer community volunteers of the month. And Mr. Richardson, you have Grafton Middle.
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Darlene Hines, if you could come up with Principal Paul Rice from Grafton Middle School. Grafton Middle School is very pleased to nominate Darlene Hines as the Volunteer of the Month for the Volunteer of the Month Award. Darlene's dedication to Grafton Middle students and her willingness to help out has impacted the entire community. Darlene's leadership moved the PTSA from an organization that supported certain aspects of the school to an organization that supported all aspects of Grafton Middle School. As president, her mission was to support student learning at Grafton Middle School. Darlene created the program at GMS that supported the large groups of students experiencing the curriculum outside the classroom. During the 2016-2017 school year, all sixth grade students were able to attend a field trip that supported their study of the Chesapeake Bay and the Chesapeake Bay watershed in the science classes. This opportunity was available because of Darlene and the PTSA. When students and staff walk the halls of Grafton Middle School, they see bulletin boards with fresh paper and borders that display the most current work going on in class. Grafton Middle School keeps that fresh look because of Darlene and the Indoor Beautification Committee. Grafton Middle School is thankful for having such a positive force such as Darlene in the school building. Her support for all aspects of Grafton Middle have not gone unnoticed. Grafton Middle School is honored to present Diane Hines as the Volunteer of the Month.
And I have the honor of introducing to you another Volunteer of the Month, Erica Richards from Tabb Elementary, and if she will come forward with Mary Lugo, principal. Tonight, we would like to honor Erica Richards as Tabb Elementary's Volunteer of the Month. There is not enough time to truly paint an accurate picture of how important Mrs. Richards is to so many people. Her most important role is being mom to her two children, Evan and Emma. That alone is no small order. However, Mrs. Richards does so much more. On any given day, Mrs. Richards can be seen at Tabb Elementary School, pitching in wherever help is needed, which at any elementary school can change at any given second. From working on the PTA HOTT, which stands for Helping Out Teachers Team, or the PTA HOTT CART, to counting out endless stacks of papers, to volunteering in classrooms, Mrs. Richards provides much support to Tabb staff that is appreciated beyond words. Not only does she work endless hours without pay, she does it with a smile each and every day. If that wasn't enough, Mrs. Richards also supports the community by volunteering with the local Boy Scouts chapter and training lifeguards at the Fort Eustis base. In her spare time, she also serves as the vice president of the parent board for the Grafton High School Band. Mrs. Richards volunteers not for the glory or recognition, but for the enjoyment of lending a helping hand. At Tabb Elementary, she is one helping hand that is greatly appreciated and admired. Without volunteers like Mrs. Richards, Tabb would not be the effective community that it is. While her son Evan is a fifth grade student and will be heading to Grafton next year, we know that her blood will always be orange, and she, as and is, forever will be a Tabb Tiger. Thank you, Mrs. Richards. We will now have a presentation by the York Foundation for Public Education. And if these individuals will come forward, congratulations to Jacqueline as our pledge leader, to our Student Service Award recipients, Maggie, Laura, and Lauren, our seniors of the month, Clara, Kiara, Andrew, and Dane. And representing the York Foundation is Mrs. Denise Ashby. They are receiving special gifts from Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet. They are being presented tonight on behalf of the York Foundation for Public Education in partnership with Jeannie Fioca of Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet. And a Walmart gift card is also being presented to each recipient on behalf of Walmart as a foundation supporter. Please join me in congratulations all of these young people again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to break in a moment, so don't anyone leave. We still have a couple more presentations to do. We next have the Virginia School Board Association Academy Awards. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood, board members. The association, the VSBA, the association recognizes board members for their dedication, time, and hard work in improving boardsmanship skills through VSBA meetings, conferences, board development, and training, and active involvement in the association. VSBA members earn credits for VSBA Academy Awards, which are based on participation from July 1 to June 30th each year. There are 5 levels of awards with certificates and pins awarded for particular levels. The VSBA Academy Awards are presented annually to school board members who meet the requirements. All board members and superintendents are automatically enrolled in the VSBA Academy Awards and are issued for 5 different levels: recognition, achievement, excellence, honor, and distinction. The awards presented this evening are to 3 of our school board members, awards of excellence and silver pin to Dr. George, Mr. Medford, and Mrs. Haywood. Now, Dr. George and Mr. Medford will get their awards at a later date. Ms. Haywood, you have
wearing my pin.
She's wearing her pin and has her certificate up here, so let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. But I get to return the honor. You know, anytime we go to a Virginia School Boards Association meeting, Dr. Shandor goes. And in addition to doing school board activity, he's always meeting with his superintendent's group and other activities that keeps him quite busy. So Virginia School Boards Association will presents an award of recognition to Dr. Shandor for all he does to represent York County at the state, local, state, and national level. Congratulations, Dr. Shandor. And now we move to Accent on Academics. Dr. Shandor.
Yes, let's get the students up here, right? All right, tonight's Accent on Academics. Tonight's Accent on Academics project, the Kindness Project. Dare Elementary School staff and students launched a kindness project in the spring of last school year. With the support of community partnerships, Dare was successful in spreading acts of kindness throughout our region, state, country, and world. Tonight, DES Principal Dr. Lindsay Cacavalli and staff, along with Dare Green Zone ambassadors, will share details of this project that earned them the 2017-18 National Coughlin Green Zone Award. Dr. Cacavalli.
Good evening, Madam Chair Haywood, school board members, Dr. Shandor, and members of our community. I'm Lindsay Cacavalli, principal of Dare Elementary, and we're excited to be here this evening. Tonight, we want to share a little background about our journey to become a Green Zone school, as well as tell you about our Kindness Project. Joining me this evening are several of our Green Zone ambassadors. These are students who have been selected by staff members because of their commitment to staying in the Green Zone and helping other students stay in the Green Zone too. They are the first to lend a hand, to be a friend, and are our best role models. I will turn it over to Ms. Martin to get us started with this evening's presentation.
Good evening, Madam Chairman Haywood, school board members, Dr. Shandor, and members of our community. Just as a refresher, in October of 2015, we shared the Green Zone with you. The Green Zone is a school-wide behavior program that we have further developed over the past 2 years. In January of 2015, our staff launched a whole school project-based learning experience that would transform our school into a Green Zone school. We quickly posted the Green Zone posters throughout the school and started using the Green Zone common language. In 2016, we took the next step by creating a school pledge, flying a Green Zone flag, and we began identifying Green Zone ambassadors. We began with only 4, and we currently have now over 20. This past school year, we took our Green Zone culture one step further and launched the Kindness Project in the spring. This project earned national recognition, and we were excited to be the first ever recipient of the 2016-2017 National Coughlin Green Zone Award. Congratulations. With the Kindness Project, we wanted to spread the Green Zone message in our community. Here to tell you about the project are some of our Green Zone ambassadors. Sarah Yimmer will get us started.
This is Mr. Bryan. Mr. Bryan visited our entire school in PE classes and taught us the definition of kindness: being nice to or helping others, expecting nothing in return. We use this definition of kindness to spread kindness to others as much as possible. Here's my friend, Garrett Williams, to tell you more about the project.
The first step of this project was to spread more kindness around our school. Everyone completed an act of kindness at school, a genuine, sincere, and meaningful act of kindness. Once the kind act was completed, students earned their kindness project bracelet. Each bracelet had a number. After a student earned their bracelet, they logged their bracelet number, date, and kind act they did into the computer.
Hi, I'm Jack Smith. The next step of this project was to spread kindness in our homes and communities. After students earned their kindness project bracelet and logged their act of kindness, they then received 3 cards to complete 3 acts of kindness. Students were charged to complete any 1 act of kindness in their homes and 2 acts in the community with their parent or guardian. For each kind act, students passed on a challenge card and logged each act into the computer at home or at school. The people who received a challenge card from students were charged to complete an act of kindness, pass the card along, and log their act of kindness into the computer. Hi, I'm Reagan Wall. Check out some of the kind acts people logged. Our 356th entry logged from New Orleans, Louisiana, and said he paid for a family's ferry ride. Our 371st entry logged an act of kindness all the way from Brazil. She left a hotel housekeeper a $60 tip and said that hotel housekeepers typically earn $15 a day in Brazil. Wow, I wish I could have seen the housekeeper's reaction. And then bracelet number 365 logged that she hugged and told her mom that she loved her. That sure was kind. Here's my friend Amy Hotz to tell you how far our acts of kindness traveled.
We tracked our Kindness Project bracelet numbers by going to Dare Elementary School website. Our ETF, Miss June Jones, kept track of all entries and plotted them on the maps you are about to see. Let's see how far our acts of kindness spread. Our acts of kindness created other acts of kindness in 14 cities or counties throughout the state of Virginia.
14 cities?
Yes, including Gloucester, Hampton, Hayes, New Kent, Newport News, Norfolk, Richmond, Seaford, Stafford, Suffolk, Tappahannock, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, and of course, Yorktown. Our acts of kindness helped spread more acts of kindness to 11 states.
11 states?
Yes, including Alabama, Arizona, California, Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina, New York, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Washington, and of course, Virginia. Our acts of kindness reached 7 countries outside of the United States.
7 countries?
Yes, you heard me correctly. 7 countries: Australia, Brazil, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Uganda, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. And this is our friend James, now in 4th grade. His bracelet number appeared the most on the website. Way to go, James.
I was so happy to hear that my car moved so many times. I was so happy to hear that my car moved so many times.
We also want to highlight our community partners who made this project possible. Mr. Bryan, owner of Wolf Martial Arts in Yorktown, supplied kindness cards and incorporated the original art of Dare student Mackenzie Holden, as well as Mr. Bobby Kipner with the National Center for Prevention of Community Violence, who donated the bracelets. And another shout out to our ETF, Ms. June Jones, for all her hard work to make this happen. For our continued efforts to be a green zone school, along with last spring's Kindness Project, we were honored to be the recipient of the 2016-17 National Coughlin Green Zone Award. There are currently green zone schools in Virginia, North Carolina, Arizona, and California.
As for our next steps in the Green Zone journey, we will continue to currently add more Green Zone ambassadors and have created a Green Zone Club that will increase the impact of Green Zone ambassadors in our school. We also want to educate parents about the Green Zone and use the Green Zone common language in areas throughout our school, such as the bathroom, hallways, and cafeteria. At this time, our students would like to present you with some Green Zone swag and invite you to take the challenge and ask them any questions you have about the Green Zone and specifically about the Kindness Project this past spring.
Well, number one, I am impressed. I remember the previous presentation, and you all have just the vision of where you have taken this is fantastic. And it can be any of you that may want to answer this question. What would you like to see next happen? You've come so far, you've done so many, you've accomplished so much. What do you think your next step will be that you would like to happen? Any idea?
I would like to see more people step up to try to be in Green Zone. Well, not try, but do acts of kindness from their heart and not just to get a Green Zone bracelet.
Wonderful. Yes. Anything else from?
I'd just like to make a comment. What a great program that has a positive impact, not just on our local community, but the global
Yes.
community, because it extends so far. Wonderful, wonderful job, and I'm already sporting my bracelet. So good job.
Fantastic. This has been wonderful, wonderful. We want to see in the future where this takes you. Yes. Thank you. And we're going to take a break and come down and meet all of our award recipients. We will resume our meeting. First, do we have any unfinished business that we need to attend to? I don't think we do. Okay. We move now into presentations. We have one, and that is the construction report.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood. Board members, I'm going to ask Mr. Mark Shearhart if he'll please come to the podium, Associate Director of Capital Plans, and he'll present this month's construction report.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Shandor. Here's your capital projects report for the month of October. I'd like to touch on 4 schools this evening. The first of these is Yorktown Elementary School. This is the addition and the renovations to that school. So far, the contractor has completed the gym floor. In the overall scope, he's wrapping up everything at the building, but he's completed the gym floor now. He's also finishing up the punch list items. It's a very short list now. He's also completing some HVAC work, and they are continuing the roof work. We thought they might finish up the roof work this last week, but they still have a few things left there to go, some metal work, trim work, and some downspouts and things like that. We expect the roof to be watertight for tomorrow morning, and so we don't expect any problems there. The contractor is also preparing for some additional work items. I had them give me some proposals to replace some additional doors at the school and also do some additional painting. So they're in the process of getting ready to do those items. So this is the gymnasium there at the school, and this is September 14th, right after school started. And you can see it wasn't quite ready for school. The contractor had taken up the plastic floor tiles there and was making preparations to do that and also to change the windows there in the gymnasium. And so then on October 16th, it looks like that now. So they've painted the entire gymnasium. The ductwork up in the ceiling is painted green. And then they've got, you see this beautiful floor down below, and they've got the logo painted on the floor there. All the new windows are installed, new lighting and everything. So this gym is a beautiful gym now. And over this last weekend, the contractor was busy there, and they did this on the front of the building. You can see the new Yorktown Elementary letters on the front of the
yes.
building. So when you drive up, this
Yeah.
blue color just pops off the front of the building. You can see obviously what the school's name is, and they did that this weekend. The old letters that were on the front of the cafeteria, we reclaimed those letters and reused them, those aluminum letters, and we put them inside the school in the lobby. So that's what's up on that wall
nice.
there. So it looks very nice and very inviting when you walk into the school.
And the front looks so different. It's hard to believe what it was.
Yes. The next project is Bethel Manor Elementary School, and the contractor is also wrapping up punch list items at that school. That list is also very short. They are also preparing for some additional work there. I've asked for a proposal for additional doors to be installed in that school, in the kitchen and in cafeteria areas. And also they are completing some HVAC work at that school too. They are preparing to do commissioning of those HVAC systems, and commissioning means that they're going to make sure that the systems operate properly and efficiently before they turn it over to do final turnover to the school system. The next project is Tabb Elementary School, and this is a project that's going to start next year. I'm right now conducting the final review of the construction documents, and I'm also discussing with contractors installing a wall in a classroom, very much like we did at Yorktown Elementary School. We're going to put a wall in the classroom, divide it up, and make it into the main offices and a workroom in the principal's office. And I'm in the process of talking to contractors about that. That process will happen. They're going to put the wall up over Christmas break, and then we'll move the plan is to move the main office on March the 2nd, which is a half day for students. And so that's why we chose that day. So the first phase, which will start in the spring at work will happen in the office area, and then during the summer we'll be working throughout the entire building. They'll be replacing HVAC, they'll create a security vestibule, they'll do some restroom renovations, install new ceilings and painting, and potentially install new LED lighting throughout the building. And that, I say potential because it's based on the bids. If the bids come in low, then we'll probably be able to install these LED lights in there. This is very energy efficient lighting. The second phase in summer of 2019, there will be replacing part of the metal roof, taking off part of the metal roof and replacing it, and also covering part of the metal roof. The area over the kitchen and cafeteria, which has shingle roof now, will also have a metal roof. The contractor will also be replacing some exterior doors and windows that need to be replaced, and doing some additional work in the cafeteria and gymnasium areas. Possible casework and door replacement may happen that summer as well, and again, that's contingent upon where the contractor's bids come in at. If they're low enough, we can go ahead and change out the casework and the doors, interior doors in this building. The last project I have, or last school I would like to talk about, is the new elementary school, and we're in the process of putting together the contract. We've worked through all the items that the architects had issues with, and so the contract, we're ready to put the contract together and get it signed and start working on this design for this new elementary school. The construction timeline for the school is still not been determined yet. It's based on the construction of residences near and around the school site. And so as that construction takes place, we know more about when we'll need the school. And that's my last slide for this evening. Do you have any questions for me?
Board members have questions? The one I would have, as you move to the new school design, and I know we've pushed it back, but we're still working on a design for the property anyway, so whenever we break ground, we'll have a design in place. So then, any idea when you think we may see what a schematic may look like for that school?
Well, we don't have the contract signed yet with the architects, and once
Okay.
that contract is signed, then they'll start work on it. I've talked to them. I just got an email from them yesterday that said they had not actually started any of the work.
Okay.
And so hopefully within about 6 months, we should have something in our hands that's pretty concrete.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sherhurst.
You're welcome.
We'll move down in our meeting to comments of citizens. There are 2 opportunities this evening for citizens to address the board. The first is public participation at board meetings. And I have a list of people who have signed up. I ask you to come to the podium as I call your name. State your name and your address, and you will have 3 minutes to speak, to address the board. The first is David Forrest.
My name is David Forrest. I live at 104 Three Point Court here in Yorktown. And members of the board, what I'd like to talk about is that I think you're doing a poor job of communicating the level of overcrowding and substandard facilities that you're providing the county. The Board of Supervisors approved a rezoning plan on development at Lightfoot that would add 40 elementary school students to the system. I wrote to Chad Green, he voted against it, but based on the 6-year master plan, the system is at the elementary system is at 97% or 93% capacity right now, and is projected to be above 90% for the whole, for the duration of this plan. Dr. James, in presenting the instructional capacity numbers, he talked about how the ideal capacity should be between 85 and 90%. If you look at the middle and high school levels, they're at 75%, about 75%. The elementary school is at 93% and is projected to go high for a while. In the redistricting stuff, you've moved to presenting stuff on building capacity stuff. And there's, I don't know, 50 tables or so showing building capacities for the different commands, and the instructional capacity is also, or the enrollment's also shown instead of the K through 5 levels, it's the pre-K through 5 levels. But both of those add up to be about a 10 percentage points of extra space compared to like the building capacity numbers. And I think if you're looking at the facilities master plan with its sort of things, the right level that you should be seeing is like a 10% margin on any of the instructional capacities is what the enrollment should be. On anything in the redistricting plan stuff, the margin should be about 20% to not be overcrowded at the schools. Because the new school is not going to come online anytime in the next several years. We're at 93% now. We're going to be going up from there as it goes along. So no matter what plan gets chosen, we'll still be overcrowded at multiple schools. Right now, Yorktown Elementary is the most overcrowded one by the numbers that I think were presented here. And I don't see that you're communicating that things are going to be better. It's not clear to the Board of Supervisors that you've asked for enough stuff to solve the problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Kathleen Howe.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Howe, and I reside at 121 Lance Way, Yorktown, Virginia. I am here this evening to discuss the transportation issues and school start time for students within York County. All parents and concerned citizens in York County are aware of the transportation software purchased by the York County School District. This program has numerous advantages for both the parents and the transportation department. One would think we have a win-win situation and a one step closer to possibly considering an implementation of an 8 a.m. or later school start time for all York County students. That said, I waited until this morning to see how efficient our new transportation system is currently operating, giving them 7 weeks to work out any kinks. The first bus arrived at Grafton High School this morning at 6:18 a.m. and left with more students at 6:20 a.m. The second bus arrived at 6:36 a.m., picked up several students and left. 2 additional buses left, one at 6:51 a.m., the other at 6:56 a.m. Thereafter, buses continued to arrive from 6:45 a.m. to 7:03 a.m. All buses for the high school were gone by 7:10 a.m., except for bus 19, which arrived at 7:23 a.m. Middle school buses were dropped off between 7:43 and 8:02 a.m. One would hope by changing some of the bus stops, the students would gain at least 5 additional minutes of sleep each morning. I know plenty of parents and students that would love an additional 5 minutes of sleep in the morning. I know all of you can use it with all the work you do, working extra hours in addition to your daytime jobs. Can you imagine how attentive these students would be after receiving 30 minutes of additional sleep per week? Based on what I saw this morning, we can definitely change the pickup times by at least 5 minutes, since some students are still sitting on that school bus 30 minutes or more prior to school begins. The only variable so far is where we pick the students up, since they're still getting picked up on or close to their original pickup times like they have in previous years. Please email me as to what the next step is in this process and if I could be of any help. I had sent an email out to the school board back in August and haven't heard anything as of yet. I appreciate your help, and Mrs. Ford has my information on the sign-in sheet. And once again, thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Is it Julie Bednarak?
Good evening. My name is Julie Bednarik, and I reside at 203 Blevins Run, Yorktown, Virginia. I'm here this evening to address the topic of later school start times for our students, particularly our high school and middle school students. I urge you to change our high school and middle school start times to 8 a.m. or later. It is in the best interest of our students and communities. Study after study shows that for teenage students, natural sleep patterns are disrupted by early school start times, leading to students with significant sleep deficits on a daily basis. Teen levels of melatonin, the hormone which promotes sleep, peak in a teen at 7 a.m. York County teens are either already at school or up and on their way to school at this time of day. While the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends 9 hours of sleep per night during the teen years, a 2011 National Sleep Foundation study showed that only 14% of teens 13 to 18 years of age get 9 or more hours sleep per weeknight. Furthermore, the level of sleep deprivation gets progressively worse for teens between grades 9 and 12. The consequences of sleep deprivation in teens are many, including negative impacts on physical health, for instance, weight gain and higher incidence of car accidents, emotional health, higher levels of depression and moodiness, more risk-taking behaviors and more impulsivity, and cognitive function, decreased memory, rate of performance, concentration, and attention level, to name a few. We have had guest speakers in favor of later school start times and discussing its many advantages in meetings put on by YCSD, Dr. Verona and Daryl Drobnik. We have a program that allows parents to track school bus locations so that parents do not clog transportation phone lines when buses run late, either picking up or dropping off students. Surely this program can also be used to assess streamlining bus routes and timing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. This ends the section of public input. All people who signed up have spoken. I now move to the public forum on the goals and objectives of the FY19 Capital Improvement Program and Operating Budget. Dr. Shander, is there anything you would like to indicate before I open our public forum.
I don't have anything to add, but at the next work session, Mr. Bill Bowen, our Chief Financial Officer, will be presenting our capital improvement plan.
At this point, I open the public forum, and one person has signed up, Mr. David Forrest.
My name is David Forrest. I live at 104 Three Point Court in Yorktown, Virginia.
Speak up a little bit. It's sort of a hard
Okay. My name is David Forrest. I live at 104 Three Point Court in Yorktown, Virginia. Members of the board, on the goal for the capital improvements plan and the budget there, I went to one of the meetings there, and I think an important criteria that is not in the goals is about the class sizes. The goal that's in the plan is to keep the average class sizes below the threshold that you're doing there. I think you ought to keep the maximum class sizes below that, because it's much easier to keep the average class sizes down by having a few low ones and people over the limit at that. In terms of like speeding, there's a speed limit, and it matters what the maximum speed is you're going down the road, not the average class size thing. The other comment I have on the thing is we have 21 schools or something like that, about $25 million apiece. That adds up to like $500 million worth of schools. You guys are not asking for enough in the capital improvements plan to support that. I can't remember the numbers exactly, but I think over the past history, we've shown that we're doing about $7 million a year in the capital improvement stuff. Looking forward, we've got the new school in there. And if you take the $23 million out for the new school, it's still down around the $6 or $7 million a year plan. With $500 million worth of infrastructure out there, depreciating at like an industry standard 40-year level, you should be doing about $12.5 million a year as a capital improvements budget. As it is, I think it's up around the 70 or 80-year budget or depreciation schedule that you're funding. And I think Dr. James presented something that talked about us having like the age of the school is about 47 years right now. But I think to keep up and keep from letting things decay, you need to be funding at quicker than like a 80-year depreciation schedule.
Thank you very much.
And there's my thanks.
No one else has signed up, so I will close the public forum on the operating and capital improvements budget. Thank you very much, and I move now to matters by board members. Is there anything any board member would like to share this evening?
I don't have anything to share, Madam Chair.
Yeah. It's been a quiet time since that last meeting. We know that what interims have gone out, so that's the biggie for the division, and we hope everybody's done well. We move down to financial matters, and Mr. Richardson, you have financials.
Yes, if you look at the school operating budget, the monthly financial report, one of the things that sticks out, local sources of revenue, there's a difference there. There's an increase from last year. That's because of the summer school tuition that's been received a month earlier in fiscal year 18. That's why there was an increase there. And if you look at the federal revenue sources, there's a difference there. The impact aid statements have come in higher in FY18 at this time than for the previous year, so that's why there was an increase there. And then if you look down at expenditures and instruction, we paid the tuition for New Horizons, was paid a month earlier as compared to last year. That's why there was a difference from comparison of the years. If you go over to the food service financial report, there's a, in the state revenue for 18, the National School Lunch Program match has not been received for this year yet. That's why there's a zero balance in that fund there. Has not been received yet. And then for fiscal year 17 carryover for food service, I talked about this last month. There was a cargo van that was purchased with a lift gate so they could move supplies around throughout the different schools in the county. That's already been delivered, but there's some other things within the within that same line item that have been purchased, the keypad scanners and for the point of sale that haven't been delivered yet, so that's why that is still carried there. That'll move from encumbered to expenditures when all that stuff has been received. And then looking at significant expenditures for the month of September, the most significant ones are the $1.4 million in tuition for the Governor's School Special Education Building and the Career and Tech that we pay out for our students to go to. Cox Communications, there was about $82,000 total for supporting our technology networks. There was a total of $737,000 for new laptops that were distributed throughout all the schools in the county. That's on the division's replacement schedule for the laptop computers. And then there was $915,000 to Oyster Point Construction. That was the closing out for the York Elementary School renovation to finish that project up. And then if you look at Kingsmore Supply, they're on 2 locations on page 1 and 2 for $188,504. That was for 3 special needs buses. That was part of our replacement schedule. Our buses are replaced every 12 years and 200,000 miles, and they were in need of replacement. And then looking at the resolution that we're going to look at tonight for school division procurement, a lot of these expenses are for design, roof replacements, gym expansions, door replacements, exterior window and roof, HVAC systems. So that's pretty much what all these expenses are for. The last one for the copier lease contract, our lease contract is expired and we're working on new bids and quotes for that new contract. It may be a slight increase because they're looking at putting 2 printers at each school versus the 1 central printer because it's more cost effective than putting the separate printers at each individual desk. So we're trying to cut some costs that way and make it a little more cost savings. But that's all I have for financial reports, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to move?
I would like to move we accept the resolution.
Is there a second? Any comments or questions? If not, Mrs. Ford, please.
Yes, the motion was made by Mr. Richardson and seconded by Dr. Vivian to approve financial matters. Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Dr. Vivian?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. We move to our consent calendar, and there are about 7 items on the consent calendar. The first is consideration of approval of personnel actions. The second is consideration of approval of donations in the amount of $19,200. The third, consideration of approval of the 2017-2018 Gifted Education Advisory Committee. Consideration of approval of overnight field trips and student activities for the period of November 1, 2017 through October 31st, 2018. Consideration of approval of a motion to approve changes to the Health Services Manual. Consideration of a motion to authorize the filing of the 2017-2018 ESSA, ESEA application for grant funding, Title 4, Part A. And lastly, consideration of approval of minutes from a regular board meeting on September the 25th. Is there a motion, is there any item that needs to be removed from the consent calendar?
Madam Chair, I don't think there's any items, but I did want to point out on one of our donations, it was a $15,000 donation from an individual for Bruton High School for the band, and I think
Okay.
that's great.
Outstanding, yes,
Really
yes,
outstanding.
thank you. If not, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Madam Chair, I move we approve the calendar as presented. Thank you.
Thank you. A second? Thank you. Mrs. Ford?
Yes, the motion was made by Mr. Richardson and seconded by Dr. Vivian to approve the consent calendar. Dr. Vivian?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. We have one action item, and that's consideration of approval of a proclamation for American Education Week, which is November the 13th through the 17th, 2017. And Dr. Shandor, I think you have something?
Yes, just a few comments. Thank you, Ms. Haywood, board members. The annual observance of American Education Week dates back to 1921. It was established for the purpose of informing the public of the accomplishments and needs of the public schools and to secure the cooperation and support of the public in meeting those needs. With the theme, A Basic Right and Our Responsibility, American Education Week is a reminder that all children deserve a high-quality education and that each and every employee of the school division, be they teachers, administrators, custodians, bus drivers, or office staff, play an integral role in supporting students every day.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept this proclamation?
Madam Chair, I move we accept that proclamation.
Second, please.
I second.
This is always such a wonderful time of the year that we recognize American Education Week. Mrs. Ford.
A motion is made by Mr. Richardson and seconded by Dr. Vivian to approve the proclamation. Dr. Vivian?
Yes?
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. Move down to policy. We have one item under the discussion area.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Haywood. Quadrennial review of Section 1 instruction for the YCSD Board Policy Manual. I'm going to ask Dr. Stephanie Guy, Chief Academic Officer, if she'll please come to the podium. Dr. Guy, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. Mrs. Haywood, members of the board, after review and revision by the superintendent, chief officers, and assistant county attorney, Section I of the York County School Board Policy Manual is ready for quadrennial review. Many of the proposed revisions are a result of alignment with the Virginia School Boards Association Policy Manual and do not substantially change practice. One new file was added to policy, file IKFD, Alternative Paths to Attaining Standard Units of Credit. This file was added pursuant to House Bill 1675 and Senate Bill 982, with language adopted primarily from the VSBA Policy Manual. 21 files were revised with substantive changes. 2 examples include file IGAJ, Driver Education, which includes references to instruction in law enforcement procedures for traffic stops and the appropriate actions to be taken by drivers during traffic stops. And file IICA field trips, which includes statements affirming that no student will be denied the opportunity to participate in a field trip because of lack of funds, and that employees are not permitted to solicit students for field trips that are privately sponsored or not part of the instructional program. 13 files were revised with minimal changes, with new language adopted all or in part from the VSBA Policy Manual. 16 files were retained with editorial changes only. 9 files were retained with no changes. And 1 file, file IGA, Basic Instructional Program, was deleted to align with VSBA Policy Manual. The deletion is not associated with any change in practice. Do you have any questions?
Board members, we'll see this again
Yes.
next month for first reading.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll be busy reading between now and then. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have 2 items under first reading. Dr. Shandor, anything else you want to mention with regards to either of these 2?
Yeah, for either of those items, there have been no changes for A and no changes for B.
We will see them back next month under second reading, and there will be action items at that point. We do not have any action items, any second readings tonight, so I'll move to Dr. Shandor for your report.
Thank you. Just a couple items this evening. In celebration of School Bus Safety Bus Driver Appreciation Week, our executive leadership team visited various schools last Monday morning. We provided hot coffee and donuts to our transportation staff in recognition of the significant work that they do each and every day. It was quite the competition between executive staff members. I will share that my team and Mr. Bowen's team won that event. We're very proud of that. Ms. Skinner, Dr. Vladu, Mr. Mead, we were all part of that team. There are other teams. I think there's a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place trophy for everybody else. We're really proud of
You
them.
want to rub it in, right?
Just a little bit. Secondly, so last Thursday, attended a wonderful event at the Coast Guard Station. They held their annual breakfast to recognize YCSD students who participate in the Project Experience program at their site. These students and their parents attended the breakfast and were recognized for their daily efforts at the station. Dr. Guy, Dr. Vladu, Dr. Gold, Ms. Chiquita Seaborn, and I had the honor of representing YCSD at that event. It was a wonderful breakfast. Earlier this month, I participated in the Meet the Administrator event along with several staff members in the division to kick off the York County Council of PTA's first meeting. We certainly look forward, we appreciate the dedicated work of our PTA and look forward to another great year and of our continued partnership between our parents and teachers. Finally, November 1st is our 2nd year that we're going to have Principal for a Day program. Many of you participated in that last year. It's a great program for business owners, elected officials, military leaders, and other leaders in our community to walk in the shoes of a principal for a day and get to experience all the joys and challenges that they face every day. We'll also have an event at the freight shed at 4 o'clock following that event, so we can share our experiences with everyone to celebrate American Education Week. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Before I conclude the meeting, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to address the board who did not have the opportunity previously? If not, thank you. We are adjourned.